starting to double up on DJ Chark Jr. as well. So, but I don't know whether that'll be a trend that continues. But those are some of the observations, Rudy, I had yesterday.
There was one guy who just absolutely balled out yesterday, and of course I got to go with my team, and that's got to be Delvin Hodges. I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal coming into this game. Not a whole lot of conversation. They were kind of, I don't know, I think national media is kind of missing it, picking on a guy who's won a 2017 duck calling contest. Yeah, so that's wonderful and fine, and it's haha funny. But at the end of the day, what did he do? He went in to Los Angeles and really laid it on. Of course, it did clearly help to have a guy like Devin Bush in the backfield. But if there was a game ball to give, it'd be Delvin Hodges. I mean, he won his first start. He hadn't done that since Ben Roethlisberger did it after taking over for Tommy Maddox after his career-ending injury, essentially.
Right.
A guy who holds FCS records for passing yards. Came out of a small school called Samford. No, I didn't say Stanford. I said Samford. Like
right,
Sanford and Son, without the N, it's an M.
Right,
They flipped that around. That's got to be a W. But, I mean,
right.
there's not a lot of notable people that came out of this college. So a guy like Delvin Hodges for the Steelers, coming in 6'1", 210, did absolutely everything right minus that interception. But, again, he's a guy thrown into a situation. He was cut from the Steelers roster earlier, but I think the trend, when you see uphill scaled quarterbacks entering the NFL, you're going to find guys like Delvin Hodges to really make a case for young talent, because Division II, Division III, NAIA guys don't get an opportunity. Hopefully a guy like Delvin Hodges can put them on the marker, put them on the map, and let them know that they sweat, and they shed blood and everything else under the sun for the right reason. That's to play football in National Football League.
Well, let me just tell you this. You ever heard of Jerry Rice? Yes or no?
Yeah.
You ever heard of Walter Payton?
Oh,
yes
yeah.
No? Okay. Well, you know what? Okay, even Joe Flacco went from Pittsburgh to Delaware, the Blue Hens. Okay. Mm-hmm. Ever heard of the NFL Scouting Combine? The last I heard, they don't limit it to Power 5 conferences, but they kind of let everybody come involved. Okay, where am I going with this, Rudy? If you got talent, they're going to find you. And you know what? When I was at the Florida Atlantic University Owls game on Saturday night, by the way, the Owls did go ahead and win over Middle Tennessee 28-13. There were scouts from the New York Jets, the Green Bay Packers, there, just so you know that at these other schools here, that they're going to find you. They will. And you know what? So I definitely agree with you about the Steelers quarterback. I'm actually glad that Paxton Lynch is a backup there too. It's an opportunity for him to hang around, get good coaching out in Pittsburgh. So, I'm with you. I don't care how. I mean, even Devin Singletary's with the Buffalo Bills, right? He'll eventually be pretty well. I think he'll do well with the Bills as time goes on. These guys can play. I don't care what biggest school you're in. It doesn't matter. Now, I was actually surprised that Pittsburgh walked into L.A. and took it to the Chargers. I really am. But you know what? They know what the word patience is, and they definitely are a model organization without a doubt.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah, they, both LA teams suffered at the hands of other teams coming in to Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, there were more Steelers fans there, as there always is. There was in San Diego when I went, and there always is more Steelers fans than Charger fans, because Charger fans are pickled. They don't know if it's L.A. or San Diego. Maybe they fell asleep. I don't know. But in either case, when you have more fans of the other team, and you have them streaming in Renegade, the Steelers' home song at Heinz Field, when you stream that in to a Chargers game, fans were not happy. You see the Phillip Rivers grab of Mike Hilton? He was mad, furious, and bent. Keenan Allen went on Twitter and said, this offense is horrible. And you know what? He's right.
Well, let me tell you this. You're going to bring that point up, really. I'll bring one up. Once upon a time when I was going to the University of South Florida in Tampa, back in the mid-'80s, and then I would cover the games. The Lions and the Packers and the Vikings had drawn an awful lot of people, more so the Lions and the Packers, out in Tampa Stadium, the old Sombrero. And don't tell me that the transplants will follow you. In fact, for that matter, every time the Red Wings come down to South Florida, of course, the Red Wings travel well everywhere, but especially in the Florida markets like Tampa and Sunrise, the home of the Panthers, they'll travel, and you definitely don't know what team's home team. I think it's pretty cool, actually. I mean, I know the Red Wings even drew a lot of people in Nashville for a while until Nashville got a hold of their fan base by started winning a lot. So yeah,
Right.
hey, listen, you know what? Transplants get sick and tired of the snow. Just remember that, Rudy. You know, they're tired.
I'm from Southern California. You're preaching to the choir, man. It snows out here in Denver all the time.
I can't remember the last time I shoveled snow, and really don't have any desire to ever think I'd ever have to want to do that, Rudy. Let me tell you, man.
You're in the right place in Florida. Yeah, go follow us at Take No Punches on Twitter. Go check us out. We're on social media. This show will be posted relatively soon, if not tonight, first thing tomorrow. We definitely want to get this out there. As far as who wins tonight, I got to pick them. I thought I went with Green Bay earlier in the show, and I did, and that's exactly who I'm going with tonight. I'm picking the Packers to win this. It's a very historic place at Lambeau Field. Other teams have gone in there and tried to win and try to do Lambeau leaps, being completely disheveled, no pun intended, snow in Green Bay,
right.
Getting those guys aware they're not going to be able to jump and leap in Lambeau if they don't play for the Packers. So I definitely got to go with the Packers tonight.
Yeah, you know what? I would love to go with the Lions. For some crazy reason, I think Green Bay's going to win. But I have a feeling that this game's going to be a much higher scoring game. At least I want to think that. But I guess I would say that maybe it is a 29-24 win for the Packers tonight. I think so. Although I hope I'm wrong. I hope you tell me, Scott, you were wrong on next edition of the MotorMan and RudeDog show. I want to conclude the show on one other note, if I can, okay, and that's this. First of all, you know, we've seen a couple of London games in the last 2 weeks. We saw the Bears take on the Raiders in a game where the Raiders are happy to give up that home game to play in London, get a bigger paycheck there. And then you saw one yesterday with the Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. The Jaguars are due to play there pretty soon, and they'll take on the Texans. What are your thoughts about divisional games being played in London?
You know, divisional games in London have always been a real mystery to me, and they've tried Mexico. Yeah. There has not been a Mexico game so far this season, headed into Week 7. Why there is, I don't know, and I understand the NFL Europe was kind of a bomb, in my opinion, when it was not only just an idea or thought, but they actually tried to make it a reality. And of course, that was bad news for European fans because they were hoping to go there to see an NFL game, and of course, that was a complete bust. I'm not so much of a fan of it, to be quite honest with you. I know Wembley Stadium's a big, a big historic, venue where soccer matches have been played, world championships have been played, and so on. But I'm just not a fan. And if there was any team that I would think that would have a home field advantage per se, it's nobody. Nobody has a home field advantage when you're traveling that far across. That's like a 7 to 12 hour flight. Are you kidding me?
Well, maybe you, not here. But here, also, one thing you should know, though, Rudy, I believe there is a Mexican game there later this year. We'll have to research that. But the first 2 games in this London series have been played over at that Tottenham Stadium, which cost $1.2 billion to make. So I think that, between the revenue that teams are able to generate, and now the Jacksonville Jaguars probably could claim that they have a following there, and they play a game there every year, and they have the last few years, 4 or 5 years or so. So they've developed somewhat of a fan base there, playing there once a year. And I think Shad Khan would love to do it more often, but that London game allows the Jaguars to at least make money during the course of the year, since they are one of the smaller markets, if not the smallest market, outside of Green Bay in the NFL. So, we'll do some research on. I think there is a game in Mexico, and I think there's 2 more in London over at Wembley Stadium. So, I actually think the games are good. NFL Europe obviously is a place which enabled this to take place with the all those teams being out there. So I think it's nothing but good. I certainly like NFL in London more than I do like the NBA in China, but that's for another conversation.
That's a whole nother time. Cincinnati takes on Los Angeles October 27th, and then as you had mentioned, Texans Jaguars November 3rd. So hopefully those turkey eaters.
Right. So then the LA one is obviously I'm assuming that's the Rams, right?
That would be a Rams home game. Yes.
Right. So you know why? You see a trend here, don't you? The Rams, okay, are playing at the Coliseum. They can afford to give one up there until they move into their new digs. Do you think that these teams will even give up home games, knowing that they're playing in temporary facilities to begin with? Think about it, Rudy.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. And it has nothing to do with because look, you have a large Coliseum stadium. You compare that to where the Chargers play, where the Galaxy play, hardly seats anybody at all. So the Coliseum can't sell out the seats. Never been able to. Even when the Raiders played there, they weren't able to. Okay, so it's just not going to happen. And I believe at the end of it all, when it's all said and done, I don't think either team's going to tank because of the size of stadium that they're playing at right now. And of course, it's just not. It just doesn't make sense to really tank. I mean, if you're a 1-4 team, 2-5 team, 3-6 team, okay, that's one thing. But you're still in contention if you're Los Angeles.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm not talking about tanking. I'm just talking about teams that move in, that play these games that they're not in their permanent facilities yet to make money. That has nothing to do with tanking. You follow me? So let me just backtrack a little so that we're on the same page with this, Rudy. The Raiders were happy to give up a game to go to London. The Rams are happy to give up a game, okay, to go to Mexico. You know what I mean? So why not save the rent there, build your brand internationally, and it's not a big deal. Do you follow where I'm going with this, Rudy?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, from a monetary standpoint, okay, that's one thing. But if you're going to be a guy that, if you're going to be a head coach, you're going to be an owner. Yeah, you're going to want to save as much money as possible. I get it. But as far as where these guys are at right now, these two teams are relatively differently set up. You right. have the Raiders going to play in Las Vegas in a brand new stadium of their own, right. As well. The Vegas Raiders. That's weird to say. I can't even think about that one. Let's just repeat it twice in a row. But you have all these. You have these teams with owners that are able to scrum up this kind of money to build a brand new house. If they're going to lose a couple games, they may as well do it this year because the pressure is going to be on in the following, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Who knows how long that lasts? Look how long Lakers played in the Coliseum, or the Great Western Forum. They played there for 25 years. So, they won multiple championships there. So, it really depends on the organization and the mindset of the players simultaneously in order to get the W, or to just say, well, no, let's just save a couple bucks here and there.
Well, the Raiders didn't pay $500,000 in rent during the preseason. Okay, in Oakland, so that's one game they didn't have to worry about. So they played Winnipeg, which was a 22,000 seat joke, but that's one thing. And then they went to London. So to me, it's they were able to. They didn't care about playing in the Coliseum for two less games. They didn't care. The Rams don't care about leaving the Coliseum for one game to go to Mexico. Plus, it's a good way to build the Rams from a branding standpoint in Mexico, because full well these teams are not going to give up home games in their new stadiums where they're going to make a lot of money versus temporary facilities. That's all I'm saying. And the Chargers, to me, they should never have left San Diego in the first place. But because of the fact that politics got in the way and no stadium got built, that's for another story. So, with that said, okay, we'll go ahead and wrap up this edition of the MotorMan and RudeDog podcast, and we look forward to having you on for the next edition of the show. So for everybody here at the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network, this is Scott Morganroth along with Rudy Reyes, telling you enjoy Monday Night Football. Anything you want to close, Rudy? What?
Well, everybody can go follow Scott, go follow me at RudeDog Reyes. Go follow this podcast. It's good stuff. Tune in, check it out. It's good stuff. We're always going back and forth. Of course, that's at Take No Punches on Twitter. And go check out the RudeDog Show and RudeDogShow.com. And always got good stuff going on. And, of course, go throw us a follow on Twitter.
And one other thing I want to add for you folks out there, go to www.southfloridatribune.com for your online information. We have a lot of great stories on there from both the media side, columnists as well. So www.southfloridatribune.com, and you are listening to this show on the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network. So, all right, everybody, on behalf of Rudy Reyes, again, my name is Scott Morganroth. Enjoy Monday Night Football, and we'll find out who is right. I am rooting for the Lions, but the Packers will probably win. But believe me, I have no problem eating crow, and I'd like to eat my words since I have a lot of them anyway. So, all right. Good evening, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care.